What do we have here?
I have Jesus Christ, the Son of God, or the Messiah, whatever you want to call it.
Wow. Now, let me ask, how much are you trying to get for this thing?
After hundreds of Pawn Star episodes aired over a decade on TV, it was time for a change for the staff of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop. That's how, in 2022, their spin-off, Pawn Stars Do America, came alive, letting its audience see Rick, Corey, and Chumlee searching for lost pieces of American history as they travel around the country. While the show's concept might be new for those who are used to seeing the Harrisons doing business in their original Las Vegas show, Pawn Stars Do America is undeniably attractive for history lovers and collectors, for showcasing rare and unique items which usually aren't seen in Pawn Stars' main show. Despite having aired only one season so far, Pawn Stars Do America findings are already for the books, but which ones are the most memorable of them? Stay with us to know about the most amazing articles found by the Harrisons, what their new show is about, and so much more. It's for a fact that war-related items are highly sought after by history collectors, but it's not every day that a legitimate war cannon from centuries ago made it to a pawn shop. As seen in the episode Revolutionary Deals, Austin Chumlee Russell brought a 1768 cannon in great condition. While the cannon's owner Bob assures that the cannon had Spanish origins, the show's firearm expert Alex Cranmer shuts down his theory by pointing out how, despite being equipped with a European barrel, the cannon's engravings place the artifact's origins to the American Revolution. Although the owner's hopes were slightly deflated by the revelation, to his joy, Cranmer affirmed that the cannon's excellent condition, plus the fact that it was part of American history, most likely made it quite an attractive, not to say a valuable piece. After later research, Cranmer found that the cannon was most likely used by Hessian soldiers, which made it all the more special. Nevertheless, the cannon still had to be proven a good acquisition to Rick Harrison's standards. Hence, the staff took it for a firing test, which turned out much better than expected, leading Cranmer to surprisingly value the cannon for at least $200,000, 10 times more than the owner initially asked. He walked away with an impressive $100,000 deal in exchange to saying goodbye to probably his family's most precious possession. While airplane pieces aren't a rare sight in the antiques business, a pair of vintage spinners brought to Chumlee and Corey Harrison in the Pawn Stars Do America episode Revolutionary Deals are an attractive acquisition for every collector. Dated from the 1950s to the 1960s, the spinners most likely belonged to non-commercial planes due to their small size, and were in a condition apparently good enough to be bought without much hassle. Nevertheless, a later revision by expert Luca Paganico confirmed that despite being a rare and sought-after article, the spinners had markings and holes which considerably lowered their value. Despite initially asking for $750, the seller walked away with $400 in his pocket, but the best part was yet to come, as a meticulous restoration and paint job by Paganico turned the spinners into beautiful ornamental pieces, which were ultimately gifted to Rick by Corey and Chumlee. Sports cards are highly sought after in the collectible industry, though several factors such as the athlete's popularity, the uniqueness of the card, and its condition all come into play when the value of these items is assessed. That being said, while it isn't rare to see sports cards being sold for thousands of dollars, what happens when not only is the card a rarely seen golf edition, and which features not any player, but the best of the best in his field? The answer is that this card ends up with an exaggerated value, which is hard to match, even by the most interested collectors. That's what happened in Pawn Stars Do America's first season premiere episode, Denver Gold Rush, in which a seller named Brett not only owned several valuable cards featuring stars such as baseball player Fernando Tari Jr. and basketball star Luka Doncic, but also unique printer plates featuring Tiger Woods from his rookie days in 1997. Despite admitting that he wouldn't even believe that there was a golf card if it wasn't for Tiger, the card's total selling price of $205,000 was a little too much even for Corey Harrison. In spite of his reticence to buying the cards right away, Corey admitted a deal wasn't out of the question if he were to find the right buyer for them. Stand by for future dealings. Some antiques require only a brief assessment to determine their value, but when it comes to maps, there's a lot more into deciding if there's any potential money in them. The latter is the case of a navigation map featured in the episode San Francisco Treats, which despite having a rich and interesting history behind it, wasn't worth quite as much as one would assume. According to the examination by antiquity expert Kathleen Manning, the map, which was initially thought by Rick to date from the 1700s, was actually created around 1660 by Dutch cartographer Pieter Goos, who in the 17th century mapped maritime territories nowadays known as the Baltic Sea, North Sea, along with the Arctic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. Besides Goose's impressive maps, several of his works, such as the Atlas of Waterworld and East Indies, made his name unforgettable to cartographers and collectors alike. The map brought to Rick in Pawn Stars to America was the Straits of Gibraltar in the south to Britannia in the north, and was undoubtedly a sight to behold, but its not-so-good condition resulted in the seller walking home with only $150 in her pocket, half the price she initially asked. Nevertheless, a $650 worth restoration, led by Manning, turned the map's value from hundreds to at least $1,700, surely making it an undeniably good deal. Besides being an experienced businessman and history expert, Rick Harrison is also a book guy who also happens to love horses. That unexpected but somehow pleasing fact was observed by Pawn Stars to America viewers during the episode Revolutionary Deals, when a book entitled Anatomy of the Horse left Rick equally excited and flabbergasted. The book wasn't ordinary, to say the least, but it wasn't only the fact that it was printed in the 19th century that made it so special. The most amazing and impressive fact about the book was its copper plate engraved illustrations, achieving a level of detail and skill rarely seen nowadays. The seller, who admitted finding the book in a farm basement by pure luck, walked away with $525 in his pocket. Although Corey was certainly skeptical about the purchase due to the poor condition of the book, a later assessment by book expert and fan favorite Rebecca Romney revealed that a possible restoration could turn the book's value from hundreds to at least $10,000, much to Rick's joy. Although rare and rarely seen books are considered collector's treasures, there's also a potential market for those worldwide known book sagas, as long as they have something special in them. While it's not rare to find editions of Harry Potter all around the world, a first edition from the saga's first book, The Philosopher's Stone, from 1997, is a treasure that not even die-hard fans easily get a hold of. Luckily for the guys in Pawn Stars to America, one of the aforementioned editions was brought to them as they visited Colorado for the episode Denver Gold Rush. Not only was the book in incredibly good condition, but also included a paperback-bound volume and some spelling errors found in which confirmed its authenticity, according to the show's book expert Rebecca Romney. Despite all the things which made this Harry Potter book a collector's dream, Romney's valuation of $18,000 was somewhat lower than the seller had first envisioned, so rejecting Chumlee's offer of $15,000. Collectible sport items are some of the most sought after and so valuable in the business, but sometimes not all the money in the world is worth the hassle of owning an unwelcome item from a rival team. That's exactly what happened in the episode Sweet Carolina, when the Pawn Stars to America guys went to Winston-Salem in North Carolina, searching for adventure and discovering the well-kept secrets of the hometown of late Old Man Richard Harrison. While there was no shortage of interesting items in the episode, a man named Michael caught Corey's attention by bringing in a basketball signed by legendary coaches Jim Valvano, Dean Smith, and Mike Coach K. Krzyzewski from 1991. The item was undoubtedly eye-catching for any sports fan, given how the three men were considered enemies on the court by the time the ball was signed, due to the ongoing rivalries between their champion teams. Regardless of how uncommon and highly valuable the ball was, Corey wasn't quite on board with the idea of owning such a ball. As a businessman, this is really cool. Unfortunately, if I were to bring this to Las Vegas, they'd burn my building down, he told the seller, emphasizing the lack of popularity of Coach K in the so-called Sin City as the reason. However, there's surely someone out there who would buy the ball without putting themselves in danger. Old pistols are some of the most sought-after items by collectors, but a few of those are in conditions good enough to be used. However, during the episode Revolutionary Deals, Corey Harrison and the firearms expert Alex Cranmer were ecstatic when a customer brought in a rare 150-year-old revolver to the shop, in such good condition that it was impossible to say no. As described by Cranmer, the revolver was a side-loading model created back in 1863 by Frank P. Slocum, who avoided the limitations of design and functionality imposed by other revolver patents by producing a 5-bullet chamber pistol with a right-side charging system. That being said, the Slocum side-loading featured in the show was even more special for being stored in its original box and so being in excellent condition despite the passage of time, resulting in a $4,000 valuation by Cranmer. The later episode, National Treasures, featured an even older pistol, what Rick believed to be a 1758 Colt Dragoon, though he was slightly reluctant to pay much more for it due to the rough state of the pistol and the fact that several of its parts were disassembled from it. Rick ultimately paid the seller $700 for it, but it was later confirmed that the revolver was a Marine Dragoon pistol, a very rare model, which, if restored correctly, would gain him over $5,000. While collectible Disney items are very popular and often valuable, very few times does something in this category leave the guys in the pawn shop speechless. One of those rare cases occurred during the Pawn Stars Do America episode San Francisco Treats, when a customer named Fred brought Corey a canceled stock certificate signed by Walt Disney himself for his daughter Sharon May Disney in 1955, the year the company was founded. Due to the fact that the item was not a regular Disney autograph, but a real document from the company, it was examined by the show's autograph expert Steve Grad, who confirmed the certificate's authenticity and its uniqueness. As he explained, documents of this nature usually came from Disney's brother Roy's office, but this certificate was most likely written by Walt himself, which confirmed that this was issued early in the company's life, making it all the more special because of its rarity. The very impressed Grad admitted to never having seen a document like this before, making an approximate valuation of it at over $30,000, and possibly even more if sold through an auctioneering house. Among the many interesting items throughout the season, the episode National Treasures, filmed in Washington, brought to light some items related to Abraham Lincoln's assassination, starting with a pair of opera glasses worn by Mary Ann Todd Lincoln on the day her husband was shot. The glasses were acquired by the seller Duff through an auction in England and added to other items he owned related to the event, such as a lithograph of Lincoln on his deathbed and a letter written by Dr. Charles Leal, who described the medical procedures he performed on the president in trying to save his life on the fateful day of his assassination. Unfortunately, Corey and Duff couldn't agree on a price, but no one can deny that these items were some of the most iconic in the whole series. So, if a second Pawn Stars Do America season sees the light, we'll surely get the chance to admire more impressive pieces of history in it.
Hey Rick, what do you hope to find on the road?
Hoping to do enough big deals so I don't have to carpool with you anymore.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.